Welcome back to the program, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to another show. Welcome back to another episode. Good morning or good afternoon to all of my viewers, listeners, and Soul Tribe family. The name of this program is called It's a Conspiracy, but It Ain't No Theory. It's a Conspiracy, but It Ain't No Theory is a nonprofit social service agency, suicide prevention campaign, servicing the needs of families and foster children at risk. Lending my voice to help raise awareness by soft publishing a book trilogy called Lucy's Lair. Lucy's Lair is a graphic novel based on true events following my life as a freelance artist. This program is intended to help encourage, heal, and empower survivors of cancel culture and rape culture, providing free information and evidence regarding child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, electronic harassments, gang-stalking, conspiracy, and true organized crimes, hate crimes against humanity, collective and covert. Your company can help by providing funds in a grant or by donating goods and services as I continue delivering this information and evidence to the public and advocating for foster children in need. Thank you in advance for all of your support. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing gang-stalking, hypersimulation theory, covert psychological operations, otherwise known as black ops, surviving the New World disorder per usual, plus surviving manufactured chaos, surviving manufactured karma, spelled with a C, surviving white genocide, and surviving the electronic targeting Holocaust. My name is Adrienne Alese. I am the author and creator of a book trilogy called Lucy's Lair, Part 1, 2, and now 3. Lucy's Lair is a book trilogy reflecting my life as a survivor of rape culture, child sex trafficking, and psychological gas chambers. That would be narcissistic abuse. That last part right there, I know you've never even heard a genius speak before. It's like alien language. The entire world changed because I made a 1-2-letter comment. So I am single-handedly responsible for changing the entire world. I mean, how many people can honestly say that? Nobody. So anyways, the lobbyists and the legislators, they still have some catching up to do because them on their own, by themselves, they don't have what it takes to change the entire world single-handedly. On this program, I advocate for women's rights, basic human rights, and the rights of those disabled. On this program, I advocate for women's rights, basic human rights, and the rights of those disabled. Actually, because I have epilepsy, it makes what it is that these gang stalkers, what it is that the FBI is doing, that much sicker, actually. It's like abusing a mentally ill or mentally retarded or disabled child. It's actually really sick what they're doing. I also advocate on behalf of the foster children in the CPS systems. I see nobody doing this. How sad. I hear nobody on YouTube advocating for foster children in the CPS system. So while they're out here talking about save the bees, no, honey, no. Sit your ass down, sold out for anal. It's all about saving the foster children in the CPS systems, okay? You know, we all don't wear capes. Not all superheroes wear capes. I also advocate on behalf of the foster children in the CPS system, orphans, single mothers, foster mothers, and those less fortunate. Raise your voice. Where are you at? Raise your voice. Let me hear it. So in any case, the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's always, always, always lying and saying, save the children, but it doesn't specify. It doesn't talk about children in CPS. It doesn't talk about foster children at all. So in any case, it's always lying and saying, save the bees, save this, save the boats, save that. Sold out for anal, called by God, said sit down, okay? We're going to reframe that up. And make it to where if you really want some, you can really get some. But you don't. Why are you playing? So in any case, I also advocate on behalf of the foster children in the CPS system. This also makes what it is that they are doing so much sicker. Orphans, single mothers, foster mothers, and those less fortunate. So until I see an influencer in my algorithm that identifies as somebody who's an advocate for foster children and orphans, they need to get out of the algorithm. What are they doing? It's just AI. Every single influencer and every single Hollywood celebrity is AI. They're not even human beings. Those are not their real names. Those are not their real birthdays. Okay, we've been over this. Those are not their real asses. Those are fake ass implants, all right? Those are not genuine, real justice scales on Kardashian's back. Nah, those are fake. Targeted individuals or trafficked victims are predominantly women. 65 to 70% of targeted individuals are white American women or those who identify as such. I always wondered as a child why my white mother was such a crackhead, a meth head. And now I know why, because she was a TI. I always wondered why she always had these shitty cars that never got her anywhere. And now I know why, because she's a TI. This makes gang-stalking an illegal operation or hate crime that is sexually and politically motivated towards American women and their children. This program is a dedication to the targeted individual community. The objective of Big Brother, the opposition, or the counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO 2.0, is to subvert all of the target's potentiality and to terminate, to punish all supporters and sympathizers, to round down the target's output and audience, to marginalize the target, to eliminate connections and networking ability. I'm going to briefly go over how this is done on social media, using social media. So I've kind of more or less already mentioned how this is being done in person. They're sending flunkies and junkies out straight from the prison system. Literally, I am your Messiah. Literally, I am your Messiah. You got let out of the prison system so you can come out here and brainwash whoever it is that I'm socializing with. So I don't have any support. So there's nothing for me to be able to network off of. Precisely how it is. Precisely how it's been. So in any case, I should have way more support. I should have way more money. I should have way better clothing. I should have way better cars. I should have a way better husband. But I don't. You know why? This is why. I always wondered, like, what really happened to my mother? When I was a child and I watched all this corruption before I became a little corrupt myself, before I became a woman, I had always wondered, and I promised myself as a child that I was going to get to the bottom of this. And my soul can rest easy because I have revealed the secret. I have revealed the truth, and I have blown the whistle off of every lie the enemy has ever spoken, and I am so proud of myself. That honesty and that truth is not even something that money can buy. We all know that money doesn't buy happiness. It's a fact. So on today's episode, I think I'm going to be focusing primarily on how social media is used to harass. So social media is used by this FBI COINTELPRO Operation Gladio to harass, and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. So if you take a look at the video reel, you will see a photo of me, a very amazing photo. You've never seen anything like it. It actually is so perfect and pristine that it belongs in an art museum, actually. It should have been on the cover of Inked magazine a long time ago. And what I'm getting ready to describe to you more or less today on today's program is how plausible deniability is used in order to apply this electromagnetic shock therapy. And in order to facilitate this electronic holocaust, social media is also utilized by the enemy, agents of Satan. And so in any case, it has to do all of this electronic harassment in a way that is easy to plausibly deny. So similarly to the fact or to the method of the FBI sending the prison stalemate, letting them out of the prison cell on the grounds that they will harass and brainwash and manipulate and distract. They're distractor agents, by the way. So they have to distract the support that I have. So similarly to this method where the FBI has sent out flunkies and junkies to come and sit or stand right next to the car, smoke a cigarette or smoke a joint or smoke a blunt, and then offer that to my husband, Jerron, who's also my security, chief of security, and the FBI has yet to breach. So I know somebody's feeling a certain type of way when the FBI and their flunkies got laid down to the ground. The biggest one they had too, they learned that I was somebody way savvier in that moment, and they way misjudged me. They misjudged my intellect. They misjudged my street smart, okay? I know I've been fighting this same exact enemy since the moment I took my first breath of life, and I will be fighting this same exact enemy. That's the one reassurance I get. If I fought this devil when I was a baby and I won, and I've been fighting this same spiritual, demonic, evil force every single day since then, I think I know how to defeat it. So by this point, I'm a fucking expert. I changed the entire world. Okay, I don't know anybody in Hollywood who can say that. And it's actually disgusting that they're all just here distracting from the truth. This truth right here. So all of this electronic harassment, anyways, it all has to be done. Every single harassment method that is weaponized and used as a weapon by the FBI, by the COINTELPRO, by the Black Ops, by the PSYOPs, every single method has to be used in synergistic, coordinated fashion to maximize effectiveness so it can induce, ideally, a heart attack, a fatal heart attack. So, like I was saying, this harassment method, this electronic harassment method, it has to be done in a way that is easy to plausibly deny. So, using plausible deniability to mock the victim's trauma. And then, again, using technology to induce a highly emotionally charged, high voltage electromagnetic shock or electromagnetic shock therapy. So once the trauma is attached to a person, place, or thing, it then becomes a high voltage electromagnetic shock or shock therapy. It is using old, strange, and fake names of the harassers on social media platforms to apply this electromagnetic shock therapy. It uses dark psychology to project its undesired feelings of low self-worth. And these covert narcissists suffer from delusions of grandeur. So in their minds, they are not crazy, even though the handbook manual specifically says that they are psychosadists, even though their handbook says in their own words, guilty by this handbook, they're admitting, this is a confession, that each and every one of these gang stalkers, these covert stay behind armies, these covert narcissists, each and every single one of them is a psychosadist. So the delusion that they share that they're not crazy, that's why it's a cult. That's why it's practically like a religion. It's like a death cult. It's a rape cult. It's a death cult. And I've already kind of gone over how the rape culture is the catalyst for the death cult. And so this is all needed. And so you have to understand that the enemy is secretly jealous of its victim. These covert psychosadists, these covert narcissists that do all of this for sadistic supply. You have to understand that it is secretly jealous of its victim. And it wants to make the victim responsible for making it, quote, feel that way. Nobody makes you feel anything. You choose to feel that way that you feel. You choose to feel that. And so in the video reel that I provided, similarly to the method of them sending a flunky or a junkie out to manipulate my security, my husband, to manipulate Jerron by telling him that I'm bad, that tattoo I have is bad. Similarly to that method, it gets on social media. The only interaction I will get will be this passive-aggressive subliminal message where you can clearly see the word bad, and it is spelling that word out using plausible deniability here. And I think it's suffering from delusions. It might be even crazier than it appears to be online. And it definitely needs to get locked up for this criminality right here. Everybody in this botnet needs to be locked up and institutionalized. Every single person, black hat, working for the FBI, working for the police, they need to go back to jail where they were recruited from. And ultimately, because of the patterns and because of statistics, usually they do. Usually they end up back in jail where they were originally recruited from. So in any case, it suffers from delusions of grandeur. All of these covert psychosadists that don't think that they're crazy are actually psychotic. A lot of them came straight out of the prison system so that they can walk right up to the vehicle or wherever it is that we are standing, and so it can come out here and try to act like if I'm bad, to paint a picture of me being bad. It does this using different methods. This is just one specific method that I'm referring to today. So I already know that they're psychosadists. They need to go to jail, but unfortunately they won't. So this will continue for forever. So the victims of this psychological attrition don't ever get any restitutions. They don't ever get any support. They don't ever get any of the victim of crime that they're actually owed. And the narcissists that are recruited to apply this torture method, all of these torture methods, harassment methods by the FBI, they don't go to the doctor. They don't get on antipsychotics. They're not locked up. They're not institutionalized. And so that's why doing this program is so important. And it is highly unfortunate that our government is putting so many fostered youth at risk with these counter-proliferation targeting programs. So in any case, obviously it's projecting its shitty low self-esteem. It sees that I'm confident about this aspect of my body, about this aspect of myself. And it has to try to attack that. It has to try to shatter that confidence and make that good thing somehow a bad thing, because this is a beautiful tattoo. It has to try to come up in here and make it seem bad somehow. So you can see how it's doing that, how it arranges for that to take place. Usually this is done when I share a photo of myself onto social media platforms. You can see this being the case. Now, this is one that is a little bit more like a little easier to plausibly deny, I will say. And I know that you all are going to say this doesn't even make any sense. That's because you don't have a trained eye. You're an untrained eye. You're not skilled. So I've been investigating hate crimes since pretty much I was born. I've been a victim of a hate crime, a sexually and politically motivated hate crime. Every little girl that was ever molested is a victim of a sexually and politically motivated hate crime. Every woman that was ever raped is a victim of a sexually and politically motivated hate crime. And so it's trying to make the victim responsible for its feelings of inadequacy. This is called scapegoating. It's trying to project its low self-esteem because I make it feel bad. It's trying to put that back on to me. So this is called projection. This is dark psychology. This is dark psychological science. I don't practice any of this. You will not see me so jealous of somebody else that I'm in their comment section harassing. Nope, they are the ones harassing me. If I said anything to them, it's because they were already harassing me, okay? And so my tattoo isn't bad. I think that you might be a little crazy. You might need to be forced onto antipsychotics for harassing me in the first place. My tattoo is so good. It belongs on Inked magazine, and it just makes everybody else's tattoo look so pointless. Like, why even try? Those are some perfect clean lines. I've never seen anything cleaner in my life, so it's not a bad tattoo. I think you might just be jealous. Actually, you might be feeling bad because I'm living a bad lifestyle as a result of all of the community harassment. And I can imagine that does make you feel pretty bad about yourself. And so that's why I don't participate in those rituals, because they don't make me feel any better. And so in any case, like I was saying, if you go onto this person's page, they have nothing going for themselves. Nothing. They don't have a wife. And matter of fact, a lot of times the men that are doing this to women are doing this because they're secretly gay. They're secretly gay, rapists, pedophiles, one or the other, or all three. And so you have to understand that these men that are doing this and they think that they're all perfect looking, look at their page. Look at the individuals that are doing this. They have nothing to live for. This is what they're living for. This is what brings them to life right here. And this is the definition of a psycho sadist who needs to be locked up. So instead of taking the time and the money that everybody pays the government for, they don't do any of the things that they're supposed to do. So they don't have the manpower to go after real terrorists. Their version of attacking terrorism is going for 65 to 70% of targeted individuals are white American women. Those who identify as such and their children. So if you see a person talking about gang-stalking, if they're wearing a black coat and a cap, if they're wearing a black hoodie, if they're a male that looks like they probably got busted for drug charges, a white male, can't be possible according to the statistics, according to the data, according to the research. It's highly unlikely. It's a cover story, and that is done to facilitate an electronic holocaust and to drown out and silence the voices of the victims. So unfortunately on YouTube, if you go to Google gang stalking, what pops up are actors who are perpetrators, who are responsible. And then, of course, that facilitates an electronic holocaust, and it makes every single actual victim look a certain type of way. This is all done using coercion. They don't have freedom of thought. They're not even safe in their own minds. They've been alienated from their own minds. The victims of this, they're not allowed to think of themselves as being good. as you can clearly see in the video reel as provided for evidence. I'm not allowed to look at myself as being good. Although this is good, my tattoo is good. It's so good, it changed the entire world. That's world-changing magic that you're playing with, that you're trifling with. World-changing magic that you wish your magic could equal up to. Nuh-uh. Not even close. So you can see how it's forcing the target to feel bad about the good aspects of itself. This is all coercion. This is all brainwashing. This is all MK Ultra. It's really unfortunate that all of these gang stalkers put fostered youth at risk.